Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
A major turnaround for a barbacoa restaurant. It went from failing an inspection to almost acing the follow-up. Tim Gerber is going to take us behind the kitchen door. But first, we start here. Inflation, rent, food, all of these things are eating away at our paychecks.
And some of the most affected people are retired teachers. Their pensions haven't changed. As
the night team's Patty Santos tells us, that's exactly why they want you to approve Prop 9 in November.
I thought I got a pretty good retirement, but the way things have been going up.
Patsy Esterline left her educator job in 2018, but she could never really afford to stop working.
It's life, and expenses happen, and we're not even getting into the doctors and all that, because let me tell you, growing old is not for sissies.
Have that extra pension.
Former educator Lydia Carrillo Valdez also struggles financially.
Things happen. The water heaters go out. I mean, people talk about plumbing and cars, breaking down. Where's the extra money for that?
Their pensions are funded by working educators who contribute to the Texas retirement system of Texas. The system has not had a cost of living adjustment in 20 years.
The only way we can get anything done nowadays, we have to advocate. Nobody else is doing it for us.
Last spring, Texas lawmakers approved part of the one-time cost of living adjustment, or COLA, but the other part still needs voter approval. On November 7th, voters will be asked to approve Proposition 9.
The legislators have made us go to beg the public to please take pity on us and give us a cost of living raise.
The one-time COLA would apply to those who retired before September 2020, and the increase would be between 2 to 6%.
Yeah.
Easterline fears the only thing standing in their way is voter apathy at the polls.
It's an off-year election, so there's not going to be a big turnout. For some reason, we don't think we need to vote in those, but trust me, you do. Your vote is very important.
And the Texas American Federation of Teachers is trying to make legislative changes to secure long-term cost of living adjustments. Election day is November 7th. That is just under 6 weeks away. The last day to register to vote is October 10th. Early voting starts October 23rd and ends November 3rd. Stephanie.
Thank you, Patty. Developing now, one man is dead tonight after he was struck by a vehicle. The driver who hit that man still on the run. This all happened just a couple hours ago. Police say the man was walking at I-37 and Fair Avenue when he was hit. Details are still limited at this time. Stay with us on air and online as we work to get you more information on this story.
Now, a man is in jail tonight in connection to a deadly shooting at a Northwest Side apartment complex. That's Gustavo Garrido Jr. He's accused of shooting and killing a man inside the apartment just 5 days ago on Callahan Road. Now, police say that Garrido confronted the man at the apartments. The two began fighting, and that's when investigators say that they shot at the other. Garrido is now charged with murder.
And a terrifying scene playing out on the northeast side. A boy shot by two teens as he was walking home. This all started around 4 this afternoon on Sunset Terrace, not far from Seguin Road and Pleasant Bay. That's where police say two teens pulled up to the boy, started shooting, and then drove away. The suspects were later arrested. The victim is in the hospital. Right now, officers don't know what led up to that shooting. And a local school bus driver, this man is facing charges tonight for possession of child pornography. 76-year-old Michael Paul Morris was arrested after a search warrant was carried out at his home in the New Braunfels, in New Braunfels. That's where investigators say they found images of his child porn on his computer. Morris was a bus driver for Navarro ISD since 2010. In a statement posted online by the school district, the superintendent says he was fired once the district learned of his arrest, that they do not believe any of the students were involved.
A lot of you are worried about gun violence, and San Antonio Councilman John Courage has an idea. He says that his office is going to have a gun buyback program.
On November 19th, there's going to be a weapons exchange program.
It's called a voluntary weapons exchange program. It's going to happen at the Alamo Dome. San Antonio police are going to help collect the guns, and the people giving the guns over don't have to reveal their identities. Courage says that it's no questions asked.
Just drive in, no one's going to ask your name, no one's going to ask where you got the weapon, no one's going to ask where you live. Simple as that.
So here's something to keep in mind. People don't get money in exchange for the weapons. Instead, they're going to get HEB gift cards. You can read more about the gun buyback program right now over on KSAT.com. Now, Judge Peter Sakai has also been speaking with the community, with you, about violence. Tonight's meeting was the third of 4 community conversations. They're basically opportunities for people to go and discuss the issues that they're most concerned about. Now, if you missed tonight's meeting, you have one more chance. The 4th and final meeting is happening next Wednesday, October 4th. You can read more about it right now over on KSAT.com. Just look for this article.
And human trafficking is an issue we've seen play out right here in San Antonio, and it takes all of us to prevent it. That was the message today at the Stop Human Trafficking Task Force Conference at Community Bible Church.
Human trafficking, as many people are becoming aware of, is not an offense that can be taken care of by one person or one agency. It requires collaboration at every level.
And we want to remind you, if you see something, say something. The National Human Trafficking Hotline number is on your screen, 1-888-373-7888. That line is open 24/7.
Now let's go to your Nightbeat News Flash. We'll start with this. The Texas A&M student body president has been impeached and removed from office. Hudson Krause is accused of misusing his office to benefit his younger brother by editing the job description for a cabinet position so that his brother could qualify. Now, Krause filed an appeal to the Judicial Court of Texas A&M, but he later withdrew it. The last time that members of the Texas A&M student government brought impeachment proceedings against a student body president was back in 2014. Lots of questions tonight about the future of Private Travis King, the U.S. soldier who arrived in San Antonio overnight after spending months in custody of North Korea. Today, the Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary said that the focus right now is on King's health and well-being. According to military officials, King crossed the demilitarized line into North Korea without authorization. Right now, it's unclear, though, if he's going to face any disciplinary actions. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
Yesterday, we told you that our Institute System Schools is unexpectedly closing around the country. Thousands of students were affected, leaving them scrambling and trying to figure out how and if they can transfer somewhere else. Now, one organization is stepping up to help. Cafe College right here in San Antonio is offering help to students so that their college credits don't go to waste. They're inviting them to visit them at their location at 131 El Paso Street, where they can assist in finding schools that'll accept those credits, as well as offer guidance with FAFSA for lost tuition.
A lot of basic level credits can transfer out to nonprofit schools. So that is one thing I highly recommend is students get their transcripts in as soon as possible to see where those credits are going to transfer in, apply to those other schools.
Again, Cafe College is on El Paso Street, and they're open Tuesday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Friday and Saturday from 8 to 5.
Talk about a turnaround. Last month, the Barbacoa restaurant on the west side flunked its health inspection, but this month it nearly aced its inspection.
You love to hear that, people learning from the mistakes.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen. A popular Southside taco house racked up 9 repeat violations. So as expected, it got a low score. The night team's Tim Gerber gives us a peek behind the kitchen door.
Vicky's Barbacoa, located in the 1700 block of Penn Road, failed its health inspection on August 12th, earning a score of 69. But just a few weeks later, they reversed that score to a 96 on a follow-up inspection. Here's how they got the low score. Raw barbacoa was sitting in still water at incorrect temps. Produce items were moldy. A worker was prepping raw meat, then touched a scale and other surfaces without hand washing. Another worker wasn't wearing a hairnet or hat. Laundry detergent was used to clean the floors and vents. A powder cleaner was stored above raw meat, and the inspector warned them to never wash hands with bleach or other chemicals. There were ants in the kitchen, and pest activity was evident throughout the establishment. Food items were being stored in T-shirt bags, and they were caught still using those bags on the follow-up inspection. Oscar's Taco House, located at 705 Barrett Place, earned a 75 on their recent inspection that included 9 repeat violations. Foods cooked the day before were not cooled properly, while other foods were not being held at proper cold temps. The ice machine had black residue inside. The sanitizing bucket for cleaning towels didn't have enough bleach, and several towels were found left out on prep tables. A worker was seen wiping their hands on their shirt, then proceeded cleaning prep areas. Another was using bare hands to touch food. A large pot of cooked turkey was sitting on the floor near a cold hold unit that was leaking and pooling water. A re-inspection was required. El Potosino Mexican restaurant in the 7200 block of San Pedro got a 78 on their August inspection, 1 point lower than the score they had last time they were featured here on BKD. This time around, the violations included improperly storing foods, a cook touching food with bare hands, a leaky freezer that was creating foul-smelling stagnant water. The entire place was in need of a deep cleaning. A re-inspection was ordered. Oasis Cafe downtown in the 300 block of Main Avenue earned an 82 and a re-inspection. They had some problems with roaches. They were told to hire pest control and fix several large holes in the walls. The owner told the inspector he had requested the landlord make repairs. They also needed to remove large amounts of grease and oil by the fryer that could be a hazard. For BKD, Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
It's a diagnosis no one wants to hear. Ovarian cancer. It's one of the leading cancers related to deaths in women. My doctors say it can often go unnoticed. A call tonight for ovarian cancer awareness, and it's a call that's needed. 1 in 78 women are said to be diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
So why don't we hear about it as much? Well, the Night Team's Avery Everett gets some answers. She speaks with doctors and survivors.
I don't know, I felt like I was already given a death sentence.
An unexpected diagnosis.
Both masses were cancerous.
And June Salazar says even 8 months later, she can remember everything that happened on January 25th.
The first thing I could think of was, I'm not going to see my kids grow up.
Doctors diagnosed her with stage 1 ovarian cancer.
I knew that something was wrong.
After bloating, severe cramps, and hip pain, Salazar went to the emergency room where a scan showed 2 masses on her ovaries. The next day, she was set for surgery.
They took everything. They took my ovaries, my fallopian tubes, my cervix, everything.
Doctors confirmed the worst. It was cancer, and it was starting to spread.
I was terrified.
Ovarian cancer often goes undetected.
There are symptoms of ovarian cancer, but they are vague.
Doctors say it's important to pay attention to your body and look for persistent signs with symptoms like pelvic pain and bloating.
I like to tell my patients is let's just take it one step at a time.
And Salazar says she's doing just that. After a hysterectomy and chemotherapy, she rang the bell and was declared cancer-free just a few weeks ago.
I'm happy. I'm extremely happy. But at the same time, I still worry.
There's a chance her cancer could come back.
Cancer, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care about if you're a good person.
But Salazar says all she can do for now is hold on to hope and hold on to her family. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
And we're rooting for her, yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for that story, Avery. And just a quick reminder to always get checks.
Yeah.
You never know.
For sure. 85, well, that's not a live picture. That is not a live picture right now. All right, but it is. We do know that it is 85 degrees. And you told us a little something about a cold front. Got us really excited, but should we be excited?
I mean, yes, we should always be excited about any subtle change after what we've been through this summer and even now into September, the warmest September on record thus far. A pattern shift is likely to come by about this time next week. Cold front could hit Wednesday, Thursday time frame. The strength and the timing of it is still to be determined. I mean, we're trying to predict something that hasn't even formed or developed yet, so we can't even measure that cooler air mass behind the front. Take a look at our temperature trend. Tomorrow, 96 for a high temperature. Saturday, Sunday, and then even Monday, Tuesday, right around 93 for our high. And then we drop down a little bit more. Notice Wednesday and Thursday right near 90 with the potential of us dropping that temperature even more. And I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll drop that high temperature and even the morning lows by next Thursday, Friday timeframe a little bit more as we get more information. Today, the rain was generally closer to the Gulf coastline, and here's the overall weather pattern. Upper level high over the Baja Peninsula. This is starting to nose its way back over Texas and over our area, so it's going to block out this big disturbance over the West Coast this weekend. However, next week, this upper high starts to break down and weaken. That opens the door for this long wave trough to move in, and we'll get clipped by it, which should be just enough for a cold front to get pushed through our neck of the woods. Again, strength and exact timing still to be determined. This is far off meteorologically speaking, but it will give us a little boost to our rain chances. We've got a 10% chance the next several days, this weekend, Monday and Tuesday, mainly to account for some of those coastal showers, some of which could drift closer to San Antonio in the afternoon. By Wednesday, if that front approaches on Wednesday, and especially if it's slow moving, this 30% could easily get boosted up to 40, 50, or 60%. So that's what we're watching for. It's still not a slam dunk, but at least there's hope. That's what we like to have. And we'll take every drop we can get of rain. Look at the latest drought monitor. 81% of Texas is in drought, which actually is an improvement by 5%. And believe it or not, we did have improvements in parts of the hill country, especially Edwards, Real, and western Kerr County. We had some subtle improvements compared to last week. But that's just a drop in the bucket. Extreme and exceptional drought dominating our area and a good chunk of central Texas. Oh, here's the live cam that needs to be rebooted. Clearly that's not current. 96 was our high temperature today. Notice the average high of 87, average low of 66. We can't even buy mornings in the 60s yet, but there is hope with that cold front. By this time next week, we could have some morning temperatures back down in the 60s. We were in the 90s across the board today. Cotulla just 1 degree shy of 100. Del Rio was 98, and New Braunfels had a high of 97. Tomorrow's going to be pretty much the same. 74 in the morning at sunrise, 89 at noon. Then by 5 o'clock, 96 for our high temperature. Really, it's going to feel more of the same. Castroville then 97, Canyon Lake 96, New Braunfels up to 98 degrees. There's that 10% chance we were talking about daily. And then we get into next week. We're watching the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Again, I do think there's a decent chance that we'll be dropping these temperatures a little bit, both the morning lows and the afternoon highs. Believe it or not, there's the potential of having high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s with sunshine behind this front.
Okay.
So we're not talking sweater weather, okay? We're not talking sweater weather, but a subtle change.
That's
you
relative.
may feel.
That's relative. It depends on who you ask.
And it's relative to what we endured all summer.
100%.
Yep.
Adam, thank you.
Bright out there at 10 o'clock at night, huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Just a little bit. All right, Larry. Big game coverage. What you got cooking?
So we have week 6 starts tonight, but we only had 2 games tonight, kind of a slower night. Teams are on byes, but one of our big games tonight featured Jay and Sotomayor, a battle of undefeated teams. And in the NFL, Dak Prescott feels Zeke is going to bring some extra juice to Arlington on Sunday. Coming up.
I'm Mr. Martinez, proud principal of O'Connor High School, and it's time for big game coverage.
Thank you, sir. We start with the top 10 football game between the 8th-ranked Jay Mustangs and number 10 Sotomayor Wildcats, 2 undefeated teams entering tonight. First quarter, Jay QB Jackson Gutierrez throws a nice ball to Jaden Pritchett, and that will go down as a 39-yard touchdown. The Mustangs lead 8-0. That was a result of a Wildcats turnover. Second quarter now, Jay strikes again. Jackson scores on the keeper, 1 yard out to make it 16-0 Mustangs, and Jay takes this District 29 6A contest 37-15 to remain undefeated. Staying in District 29 6A, the Brendan Bears were taking on the winless O'Connor Panthers tonight out at Ferris Stadium. First quarter, the Bears strike first. Handoff goes to Malik White. Nice hole, cuts left, goes stiff arm, and then he cruises into the end zone, 35 yards, and the Bears go up 7-0. But here come the Panthers. Quarterback Ryder Dorn drops back and goes deep to Luke Valdez, who gets tackled from behind by Javen Dalton after a 49-yard gain. Moments later, Dorn keeps it and scores, tying this at 7, but Brennan gets the win, 42-23.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
The talk of the Dallas Cowboys matchup against the New England Patriots this week is mainly about the return of Ezekiel Elliott. Now, the Cowboys are eager to welcome back their former Pro Bowl running back, while also looking forward to responding after their shocking loss to the Arizona Cardinals. While both things can be accomplished in one game, there will definitely be some nostalgia when Zeke runs onto the field at Jerry's World. And QB Dak Prescott was asked today if he thinks Zeke is going to want to show out in his return to Arlington.
Hell yeah! I mean, I expect Zeke's best every time he gets on the field. I mean, that just comes from the friendship we have, the standard of each other, and yeah. I mean, he said it's going to be emotional. Yeah, I can't imagine that he doesn't come in and run just a little bit harder maybe than he naturally does, knowing the trash talk that we all just kind of naturally do over the years, but then getting to play against the guys that you've trash talked for years, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, Zeke wants to say, take that, Jerry. That competitive friendship will get a new chapter when the boys and Pats kick off Sunday at 3:25 p.m. Houston Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud is off to a hot start. The NFL today named him the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Month for September. In 3 games during September, he completed 78 of 121 pass attempts for 906 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. During his weekly presser, he was asked, what does it take to grow as a quarterback from week to week?
Just routine, getting back to your routine. Just it's not really rocket science. It's what you make it your own. Everybody kind of has their own recipe for success, and me personally, it's just my routine and learning every week for that team we're playing, and just working, just working hard, just being hard on yourself, being critical, being accountable on everybody, including yourself, and holding everybody to a standard of what it takes to win. So, I mean, that's what it takes.
2 spring football leagues, the XFL and the USFL, today announced that the 2 plan to merge into 1. The XFL has 8 teams, including the San Antonio Brahmas, who went 3-7 in their first season. The XFL is owned by Danny Garcia, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Redbird Capital Partners. The USFL also has 8 teams, and they are owned by Fox Corp. KSAT 12 Sports reached out to the XFL to ask, what does this mean for the Brahmas? And they told us, quote, there is no additional information beyond today's announcement. As we noted, the agreement is subject to regulatory review. More details to come, end quote. Mario Barrios talks Joshua Franco's retirement after the break. Well, welcome back. This coming Saturday, San Antonio's own Mario Barrios will be fighting for the WBC Interim World Welterweight title belt in Las Vegas live on pay-per-view. But besides the excitement for the chance to win another belt, Barrios took time to talk about his friend and now former boxer Joshua Franco, who suddenly retired this year because of mental health issues.
I am very proud of him, for taking that step, rather than, just trying to do it and trying to put, himself through it, just because people want him to. He managed, he accomplished a lot, in his career. And I'm very, very proud of him as a friend, as somebody who has known him, since we were kids.
Barrios added that he was proud to see his friend take the next step as a trainer, just like his sister Selena Barrios has done. You can read more about Mario's upcoming fight on the instant replay page of KSAT.com.
It's good stuff, Larry.
All right, Larry, thank you.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
The countdown is on. 16 days away till we have our solar eclipse. That'll be Saturday, October 14th in the late morning hours. We'll have more, of course, in the days ahead.
And don't forget to get your glasses. Thank
Yes.
you so much for joining us. Have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, guys.